Hello and welcome to another plugin review or preview of the Medeek wall plugin. I wanted to show everybody the latest things that I've been doing with the wall move tool, or this tool right up here. Basically allows you to move walls around once they're set up. So I've gone ahead and already created just a kind of a floor plan layout, just something pretty basic. Threw in some windows, threw in some doors, just so you can kind of get a feel for what you can do. I probably should show how to do that more, but yeah, let's go ahead and add in a couple more windows. So we got this in the 2D mode, just kind of convenient for quick drawing and manipulation of the model. So I'm going to just go ahead and add another window, and I'm not really worried about size or anything. Just default for now. You know, we've got a bunch of windows there already, but what the heck, we'll throw another one in. You can see as you mouse over each wall, you get the wall selected, then you can put the window in as you like. I really like this grid idea, putting the grid out here, so you could easily jump to, you know, nice evenly spaced windows 4 feet off the corners or wherever you want to put them. So I highly recommend downloading this little grid tool. Anyways, so let's give this a whirl. Basically just click it and select your wall, and you can again mouse over each wall, and once you've selected your wall, you can just drag either forward or backward, and let's go ahead and bump this out 4 feet, and you can see that windows, depending on whether it's left or right, these windows will be dragged with this wall. So I haven't put in a compensation algorithm yet for that, which I may do, but for now, you'd have to reposition your windows if you're wanting them to stay, aligned off of that corner, because they're always going to be aligned off of your start corner or your left corner of every wall. So you can see that's pretty straightforward. Just click that again. Let's pull this wall out 3 feet, and okay, so it's pretty basic. Let's take a look at this here bay window. This is where it really gets interesting. Say we want to bring this out 1 extra foot, and you can see, of course, that window is too big for that wall, and if you need to get rid of that window, it's not a big deal. You can get rid of it even though it's not laying out properly. And then we decide, well, maybe we don't want that there. Let's put it back. So let's bring it in 2 feet. So you can see that non-orthogonal walls are not a problem. You can manipulate those as well as the orthogonal walls. And then walls that are adjacent to these bay windows, same sort of situation here. Let's go ahead and move this one, just push it in a foot, and you can see that it adjusts accordingly. So now we come to this wall right here, and this is where it gets even more interesting, of course. Let's say we want to bring that wall out and bump it out rather than having an inset. Well, we can do that. Let's say that bump out is not where we want it. Let's bring that out maybe another 2 feet. And so you can see that, there's things like silly putty in your hands. You can just get in here and move everything around to your heart's content. Stretch things around. Fairly straightforward. And there's one thing I haven't really done yet, and that's, of course, has got this split tool, and I'm also considering doing a join tool, so you can join wall panels together. So what happens is, if you take this wall panel and bring it right in line with this other one, it actually will delete that wall panel that was between the two, and now you're left with 2 separate wall panels that are aligned with each other. So, and then again, like I said, once I create the join tool, then you can go ahead and click this and click that, and you'll be able to join them together into one single wall panel. So that's just an interesting feature. So yeah, so here we don't got enough clearance for a walkway or driveway, whatever it may be. Let's go ahead and change the layout of this a little bit, push that in just a bit, and obviously that window's not in the right spot. Let's just go ahead and move it, and let's put it back there. So, in a nutshell, I think we've pretty much got the wall manipulation going on here fairly well. I'm going to hide this for a second. I'm going to select most of this here. Turn it to 3D view for you. Give it a second. It's a lot of walls to manipulate here. Just go ahead and grab it. And you can do more than one wall segment at once, as you can see. Let's get that one there. That's got them all. And two more over here. Forgot. Okay. So there's your walls. 3D view, or 3D mode, sorry. And again, this mode, you can do the same thing. Let's turn our grid back on just so we have that. It's nice and convenient. So, you know, you don't have to be in 2D mode to edit your walls. If you want to move this wall, go in here, push it back in, whatever you want to do. Now, granted, when you are in 3D mode, you'll notice there's a bit more of a lag because it's having to generate this geometry, and then it generates these if it has to rebuild those. So there is a, you know, it does take a little longer than in 2D. So 2D is definitely, certainly has some advantages in being lightweight. But if you want to manipulate, you know, the model in 3D space, then of course that's an option. Let's go ahead and push this over 2 more feet. And let's, just for the heck of it, let's throw this one over, another foot back that way. Alright. So, yeah, that's wall manipulation for you. And one more time, let's hit this bay window just to show what we can do with non-orthogonal walls. And I didn't like how that looks because it's uneven. So let's go ahead and push that back out a foot. Alright. So there's your exterior walls. Again, we need a join tool, wall tool for these segments so we can join them together. And by the way, if you actually move that tool or wall, here's what happens. It's not bad, but it's just it's not going to redraw that wall there for you. It's just butted up these two walls with the end condition. Now, mind you, if you like, you can go ahead and let's just turn on line mode here. There's nothing stopping us from putting a wall right there. And if auto config corners is turned on, which it is, then you should be able to do this and it'll take care of everything for you. And it did. So there you go. So now you're back to that, and then of course you can go back to moving walls around, and it's just like that piece was there right from the get-go. So, and that's another thing too, is if you somehow get your model kind of disjointed and broken apart, you can go ahead, add in the bring in the walls, just so long as they're touching on the corners at the appropriate spots. So in other words, this corner right here for an inside corner, and this corner right here, these are kind of your control points on your framing, and as long as those corners are touching the corner of another wall within ½ an inch, it will treat that corner as if it were glued together, and it'll keep those wall panels glued together and move them accordingly when you resize and move the walls around. So that's kind of how the algorithm works. I can go into more detail on that, but I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, I think everything is working fairly stable. I've still got a bunch more testing to do, but yeah, we've got pretty much all the major components in place now. Wall creation tool, the door, the window, and of course we will do the gable walls, but that will come after the initial release. Then we have the opening move tool, which can move windows and doors. We have the edit tool, which can edit windows and doors, and as you remember, there's lots of parameters there. There's the delete tool, and that can remove windows, doors. Um, you know, there's no, you can clear all these doors out really quick, or windows. Of course, we've just gone over the wall tool, the wall edit tool. You just click that, click a wall, and that really is the same as just right clicking and hitting the edit wall assembly. Those will do both the same thing. And then of course we have the split tool, and we will have the join tool, but those will be later on after the initial release. So alright, if you have any questions, feel free to email me or give me a call. I'm always here, and I'm always open to any suggestions. Like I said, a lot of these suggestions are what have driven this plugin development, and also have driven the plugin development for all of my plugins. So user feedback is good. So I appreciate it. Thank you.